Coming up tonight on YCN News, a Newbury, New Hampshire couple is charged by police and the state fire marshal with arson. Around 120 workers will lose their jobs at the end of August at a New Hampshire manufacturing plant. And Vermont's Northern Stage talks about its upcoming theater summer camps. For more news, weather, and sports, it's time for YCN, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region, southern Vermont, and Windsor County. News, sports, weather, and all that is happening in our area. The news on YCN, your local view.
Good evening, and welcome to this Thursday edition of YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. A Newbury, New Hampshire couple is charged by police and the state fire marshal with arson. Douglas McCann and Rosemarie DeGilio were arrested yesterday on charges stemming from a fire that destroyed their home at 65 Stony Brook Road in Newbury on June 9th. Investigators from the State Fire Marshal's office made the arrests, say State Fire Marshal Jim Degnan, Newbury Police Chief Robert Lee, and Newbury Fire Chief Henry Thomas in a statement. 58-year-old McCann is charged with one count of felony arson and one misdemeanor charge of burning without a permit. 47-year-old DeGilio is charged with one count of felony conspiracy to commit arson. Bail has been set for the couple and a probable cause hearing will be scheduled for a later date. McCann is being held on $5,000 cash bail only. DeGilio's bail was set at $10,000 and she was released on personal recognizance. The couple also can have no contact with each other while further court hearings proceed. Stony Brook Road runs off Baker Hill Road. Independent confirmation of the home's ownership could not be verified today by the town's assessing office or other town official. WNTK reports DeGilio is the owner of the property. An online real estate website notes this single-family home was built in 1999 and was assessed in 2013 for $187,400. Fire Marshal Degnan reminds viewers that arson is not a victimless crime. Any intentionally set fire puts at risk the public safety and the safety of all first responders. Any further inquiries on this crime or on suspicious fires can be directed to the State Fire Marshal's Office investigator Danielle Cole at 603-223-4289 or to the Newbury Police Department at 603-763-4104. A member of the Vermont congressional delegation says federal regulators need to stop speculators from taking advantage of unrest in the Middle East, unrest cited as a source in higher prices at the pumps. Independent Senator Bernie Sanders filed legislation today asking the Commodity Futures Trading Commission to take certain emergency action to eliminate excessive speculation in energy markets. Earlier this year, gasoline prices were expected to drop to prices seen in 2008, around $2.50 a gallon. Instead, the average price per gallon is $3.70 a gallon, report AAA and other market watchers. High gasoline prices have less to do with supply and demand and more to do with Wall Street speculators driving prices up in the energy futures market, Sanders says. Northern New England AAA Public Affairs Manager Patrick Moody says crude oil production, used to make gasoline, is up in the U.S. Even so, it would be optimistic now to think gasoline prices will decrease by $1 a gallon as first thought, he told YCN News last week. Sanders' bill is co-sponsored by 14 senators, all of them Democrats. Further, Sanders says the price of crude oil has risen more than 5% since June 12th, the date militants took control of several Iraqi cities. While developments in Iraq have had no impact on the supply of gasoline in the U.S., gasoline prices are higher now than they've been in the last 6 years during the summer driving season. This, even though supplies of gasoline are greater and demand for more gasoline domestically is 1% lower than it was 5 years ago. And 5 years ago, it cost an average of $2.69 a gallon at the pump. Meanwhile, Connecticut Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro is introducing in the House of Representatives a companion bill to Sanders' Senate bill. On another business note, the search for a new buyer for a West Lebanon company has not been successful. Now, about 120 employees of Olympus Biotech are expected to lose their jobs at the end of August, the Valley News reports. The company reported in March it would close the plant if no buyer could be found. That prediction has come true. The West Lebanon plant makes cameras and microscopes used in the medical, life sciences, and industrial sectors. The paper reports Olympus will give its employees severance benefits and help in finding a new job. In other local news, the interior structures from a commercial business are missing, the property owner tells police in southern Vermont. 35-year-old Trevor Mance of Shaftesbury reported to Vermont State Police the theft of maple cabinets and French doors from a property he owns in Pownell. Mance said the items, including 4 windows, 2 toilets, and copper plumbing, were taken between June 16th and 24th. Anyone with information about the theft or break-in is encouraged to contact the Vermont State Police at 802-442-5421. Information can also be submitted anonymously online at www.vtips.info or text CRIMES 274637 to VTIPS. Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. There are other issues that American veterans are dealing with besides finding timely medical care. A report by the Center on Budget Policy and Priorities says about 300,000 veterans are among the Americans whose emergency unemployment benefits were cut off at the end of last December. Those benefits have not been restored for anyone. For veterans unable to find jobs in a sputtering economy, the frustration can take its toll on their health as well as wealth. Stone would not predict what the July jobs report might reveal.
I think most people would think that we're kind of in a situation where we're holding steady at about 200,000 jobs a month being created and an unemployment rate of holding steady at about 6.3%. That's still considerably above what we would consider normal full employment, which is 5.5% or lower. And more importantly, among the long-term unemployed, those who've been unemployed 27 weeks or longer, the percentage of the labor force that are long-term unemployed is 2.2%. So the overall unemployment rate is 6.3%. The long-term unemployment rate is 2.2%. Mm-hmm. We've had an emergency federal program in every major recession since the late 1950s. And the highest long-term unemployment rate, and those are the people who we're talking about, who are eligible for those benefits. The highest the long-term unemployment rate was at any time in the past when the temporary program was allowed to expire was 1.3%. It's 2.2% now.
He did say about 200,000 jobs continue to be added nationwide each month. That Congress did not approve the emergency extension goes against earlier extension approvals. The Democratic-led Senate agreed to an extension, but the Republican-led House did not. Stone denies a belief that extending emergency benefits keeps people looking for jobs.
Opponents of extending the Emergency Unemployment Compensation Program, which is the formal name of the federal program, make the argument that unemployment insurance encourages people to, or discourages people from looking hard enough for a job. Now, in fact, over the course of the Great Recession, at one point, there were 7 unemployed workers for every job opening that existed across the country. That number is down to 2, or a little over 2, a little over 2 unemployed workers for every job opening. That's still about twice as high as it is in a strong job market. Usually there's a more even match. So it's still hard to find jobs. Not only that, academic research finds that the impact on discouraging unemployed workers from looking for or taking a job is quite small in a weak economy like the one we've had since 2007. So that the academic research does not support the claim that unemployment insurance has a major impact discouraging work effort.
Many of us remember the feeling summer brought when we were younger. There's always excitement for the long-awaited vacation from the school year. As this summer continues to unfold and more kids are getting out of school, the time for fun in the sun, sleeping in, or relaxing at home begins. But this end of the one school year does not mean the end of learning possibilities. With a variety of summer camps coming up next month for kids interested in all aspects of theater, Northern Stage, located in White River Junction, Vermont, might be the perfect place for the kids to have fun and learn at the same time. Let's take a look at YCN's interview with Irene Green, Director of Sales and Marketing, to learn more about these events.
My name is Irene Green. I am the Director of Sales and Marketing here at Northern Stage, and we are really excited to announce that we have 4 one-week camps happening in July. So the camps are happening from July 7th through July 18th. And the first week we have 2 one-week camps. The first is called Gymnastics with Pippin for ages 5 to 12. And that class is going to be a really fun sort of blend of gymnastics and clowning, aerialist and acrobatic moves, as well as acting and storytelling. That's for ages 5 to 12, July 7 through 11. The second camp we have that week is called On the Right Track, which is going to be a really fun playwriting class. So we have a teacher who has an MFA from Yale coming. She has experience with playwriting and editing and working on new plays. She's going to be working with our young playwrights to help them develop some stories over the week. And she has a lot of different techniques that professional playwrights use to sort of get their creative juices going. So that's for ages 8 to 12. The second week, we also have 2 classes. The first is called Aesop's Fables Factory. That's for ages 5 to 7, and that's going to be a really fun acting, storytelling class for very young children, sort of taking the classic Greek fables and bringing them to life in a little production in 1 week. And then the final class is called the Into the Woods Workshop, and that's for ages 8 to 14. We are really excited. We're going to be doing the show Into the Woods to open our season. And this 1-week musical theater camp will sort of give kids ages 8 to 14 a taste of the show. So we're going to be working on, it's a Sondheim musical, so we'll be working on acting, singing, dancing, and storytelling through musical theater. So all of these camps still have spaces available. You can register online at northernstage.org or by calling our box office at 802-296-7000.
Summer is a great time for kids to try something new and get out of their comfort zones. Whether you're a theater enthusiast or not, the camps are sure to offer something for everyone. A 33-year-old Bellows Falls, Vermont man is under arrest on drug charges and is being held on $10,000 bail, state police report. Police from the Rockingham Barracks arrested Antonio Figueroa at 11 p.m. on U.S. Route 5 in Westminster yesterday. He is charged with trafficking heroin and possession of crack cocaine. The arrest followed a traffic stop. The owner of the car, John Prederotti, consented to the search, police say. A search of Prederotti himself was done. Police found a hypodermic needle in his underwear. Figueroa also was body searched at the police barracks. There, 178 bags of heroin and 1 gram of crack cocaine were found on his body, report police. Figueroa was arraigned on the charges in Windham District Court today. For lack of bail, he is being held at the Southern State Correctional Facility in Springfield. Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. Now, Matt McDonald will have a look at our weather for the next few days and then move on to sports.
Thanks, Rose. Tonight we're expecting patchy fog after 11 p.m. Skies will be mostly cloudy with winds around 5 miles per hour and lows in the 50s. Tomorrow will be mostly sunny with a high of 81 degrees and calm winds. Friday night we'll have lows in the 50s with mostly clear skies. Saturday we'll have winds around 5 miles per hour with sunny skies and a high of 84 degrees. Saturday night we'll have clear skies with lows in the 50s. Turning to our northeast satellite map, we can see the worst of the storm is over. Expect clear and sunny skies at least until next Monday. In our national view, we can see a large patch with no cloud formations. Storms are expected to miss us this weekend. Now let's see what's coming up on our community calendar. Tomorrow in Newport, New Hampshire, the Library Arts Center is holding an art exhibit at 5 p.m. Then at 7:30, the Little Theater in Woodstock will have a Hamlet performance. In Vermont, the Panhandlers concert will be held at the Norwich Town Green at 7 p.m. In Putney, the Yellow Barn Young Artists will hold a concert at 8 p.m. Remember, you can submit local events from your community by sending them to news@ycnnow.com. Turning to statewide sports, we have an update on the New Hampshire Fisher Cats. Last night, fans saw a delay in their expected game against Portland. The game has been postponed to Saturday, July 12th at 5 p.m. This would have been the third of the three-game series with Portland. The Fisher Cats lost Monday's game 3-2 and won Tuesday's game 5-1. Tonight they will take on New Britain in a 4-game series as well as a makeup game with them on Friday.